Oh, hey guys. You just caught me using my lawnmower 3.0 from Manscaped. You've been hearing me talk about this on the show for the past couple of weeks. And as you know, this sleek, fantastic design not only prevents nicks and cuts, but keeps you nice and trim down there. You can see it's even got a really nice little light there, which, as we know, it comes in handy. And now, if you go to manscaped.com, you can even buy the Perfect Package 3.0, which includes this baby, but also this bag, ball toner, which, I mean, what kind of crunches do you even do for your balls at the gym? You know, they should use some toning. And ball deodorant, which again, if you live in a place like South Florida, you know what it's like to have the boys stick to your thighs. This prevents that. And now, even better, if you go to manscaped.com and use promo code BETTLE20, you can get 20% off your order and free shipping. That's right, BETTLE20 gets you 20% off and free shipping for your order at manscaped.com. Manscaped.com, trust me, your balls will thank you. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got to get mine to thank me a little more.
Hi, people. This is DJ.
This is Ish.
And this is
Season
season
3
3
of
of Pero Let Me Tell You.
So listen, now that I think Florida is opening this week or the next few days, well, South Florida, are you gonna go on to get down at discoteca?
Well, Discoteca's been knocked down and it's a high rise now. So
Yes, discoteca was behind my apartment.
so I,
You know
I don't think they'd welcome me doing
You
that.
know, it was so funny. When I would go down when I lived at Marina Blue, and I would go downstairs to take out the dogs, you know, like really, really early
Yeah.
in the morning, Saturday, you'd see people stumbling out of Mecca and Discoteca, and I'm like, oh, to be
Yeah.
young one again. Actually, I didn't even do that when I was 21.
I was gonna say not that young because I did it too. While you were living there and I was coming out of Discoteca, so
Get up to
Oh.
get.
I missed
Well, on
Discoteca.
that note, welcome to episode 110.
My God, 110. Do you think we'll ever get to have our party?
At this rate, we'll have a party, just not with the 100th episode party.
Like the 200th at this point?
150. Let's do 150.
Okay, round up.
Yeah, nice round number. So welcome everybody to episode 110 of Pero Let Me Tell You, another coronavirus edition episode.
Yes, at this point, Corona should sponsor our damn show.
I think Corona should sponsor a lot of things. Well, wasn't it? It was probably one of those rumors, but wasn't there like at the beginning of all this? Wasn't there a rumor that like sales in Corona beer had gone down?
Well, they had probably initially because you know how people are. It's just like, oh, Corona. It's caused by the Corona. And then they realized it was actually caused by the 5G towers and they left the beer alone.
Oh yes, it was a 5G, not
the beer. Right.
So how is everybody doing out there? La gente ya está desesperada.
La gente tan desesperada, and that's very evidenced by Naples this past weekend.
Mm-hmm.
La gente...
So let's talk a little bit about that. So welcome everybody. Some of you may already be listening to us in your commute. Some of you may start working.
That's true. Some of you may already have been started working this upcoming week.
Yes. So I heard. So what is it? Everybody went to Naples for the weekend.
Everybody, it was Mother's Day. So everybody wanted to, celebrar con mamá. And yeah, everybody went over to Naples because aside from Palm Beach, Broward, and Dade County, everything else was open. 13,000 pounds of trash later, beaches were not that cute.
Okay, but what did people take to the beach? That's like what I want to know.
Well, I mean, you know that most people are just garbage humans. And so they go to the beach and they take... Number one, you've seen people at el farito. So you know that when we go to the beach, we don't just go to the beach. We go like it's Noche Buena. And
Right.
then we can't be bothered to pick up after ourselves. That's the biggest problem. Because you can take all the shit that you want. Pero, caballero, bótalo bien, llévalo para la casa, But no. We're just going to, 13,000 pounds of trash.
You know what? That's absolutely horrible because those were probably all South Floridian.
Of
you know,
course
from
they were.
Miami, Broward area,
And Palm Beach counties.
and Palm Beach County. So I would like to ask them: would you do this back at home?
They probably do. I'm not gonna lie. These are probably people.
These
are probably the same
reason,
people who leave their gloves and their masks tirado ahí en.
No,
en la
the
calle.
reason I ask is because the Miami Beach. When I mean Miami Beach, I don't just mean Miami Beach. Like the Miami beaches, from South Beach to like the Middle Beach to like even all over and up and Sunny Isles and all that. Generally, these even up to Hollywood. Generally, these beaches are
very well
clean.
kept. Yeah.
You always have, your couple of idiots that leave trash, but on the most part, people are very observant on trash and they throw everything away. And I always know because, as you know, when you go to the beach with me a lot, I like to stay in the beach until sunset. Right.
So you see people come and go.
I see people leaving,
right.
And I always notice that on the most part, people leave trash. So I would be interested to see who were the people that went to Naples, and obviously. If it was 13,000 pounds, as you say, then it wasn't one or two people or a handful of people.
It was everybody.
A considerable amount. Yeah, it was a considerable amount of people that just left trash everywhere. And was the trash like scattered in the beach?
That's the part that I don't know. I mean, they left behind 13,000 pounds of trash. I don't know to what degree.
Because the reason I ask this is because I know that sometimes at the beach, maybe when you go throw away your stuff, the trash can is full.
Right, you put it on the side. You put it
right. You put it on the side.
Right.
And maybe Naples, which doesn't have the population of Miami or South Florida, maybe got overwhelmed by 13,000 new people.
Okay.
Right. But again, there's a difference between leaving trash scattered through the beach
and just leaving trash.
Right, all over. Because obviously, if the trash can's full, you leave it next to the trash can.
Right.
Huh.
I just can't imagine. I can't imagine what 13,000 pounds looks like.
That's terrible. I have to say, well, you know this about me because you've been going to the beach. As you know, I am one of these people that I like to go to the beach with one bag. I take my towel, a book, or
something to do,
something to listen to, a sunblock, and that's it.
Yeah.
I'm
the same way. I'll take like una cosita para comer and a bottle of water and that's it.
And a bottle of water. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't even take food because I'm the type that when I'm hungry, I'll go across the street and get something to eat.
But sometimes I don't feel like walking. La vagancia.
Pero bueno. There's people that literally take the kitchen sink to the beach.
Yes. It's like a freaking Nochebuena.
Like some of our friends that take tents, and then I'm the one who ends up building the tent, and which sucks because I choose to be simple, right? Yet I get stuck with hauling the tent, hauling the cooler, that looks like a cooler you would have at a Super Bowl party.
That's what you get for being grande.
I'm the one who has to lug everything, and I'm like, but I'm the one who comes with one bag.
If you were petite, nobody would ask.
So obviously, when you have a child, obviously, especially when they're younger,
you have to entertain them.
You have to, but also you have to take something because they can't be out in the sun.
That's true.
Right. So you have to accommodate a little bit, right?
Yeah.
But even now that my kid Tristan is 6, even now when he goes to the beach with other people, I'm not gonna name names, it's the kitchen sink. The kitchen sink. No, porque el niño y el sol y blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. Right? But I shut up and take it because he's my kid, and I'm like, okay, fine, whatever.
But when he goes with you...
Last year, if you recall, I took last summer Tristan to the beach several times. And do you recall that there were a couple of times that I took him at 10 o'clock in the morning, and we didn't get back to 10 o'clock at night?
But a little bit more, and he would have been slinging drinks at Mango's. It was just, that long.
And anyway, I took my, obviously I took my bag, and I took a bag for him,
right,
with a change of clothing. I took 2 bottles of water. I took his sunblock. I took everything, and that's it. There was no cooler. There was no larger than life umbrella. There was no tent, and I was like, see, when you want to take a kid to the beach and you don't want to literally move, I mean, obviously when you have a baby and an infant,
it's different. It's a different story.
It's different. But he's a little bit bigger. So I was like, you know what? I brought him to the beach, and
And then he'll have just as much fun. He doesn't need all the accoutrement.
I remember that there was one of the times that I took him to the beach last summer, that you called me a few times.
Oh yeah,
and I'm
yeah,
like, no, I'm at the beach with Tristan. No, I'm at the beach with Tristan. There was a time that you called me.
Ya era
and I'm
las
like,
9
no,
de la noche.
It was, and we didn't get home until like 10:30. Because then we were like, when we because I like to go to South Beach.
Yeah.
And
South Point Park, as
South Point Park. When we were done, like at the beach, South Point Park has the water, like the fountain area.
See the little playground thingy.
He's like, I want to go in the fountain. And I'm like, I was going to tell him no. And I'm like, okay, fine, let's go to the fountain. So we just sat there in the fountain for like 2.5 more hours.
Whatever, que se entretenga.
So by this point in time, it was 8 o'clock. He's like, I'm hungry. I'm like, okay, let's go to the Big Pink. Like,
True. It was right there, so might as well.
But I am proof that you can take a kid to the beach and not have to take the entire kitchen sink. Because I did it and he was fine.
And of course,
I made sure to reapply his sunblock because again, it's a child.
A child. Tiene que estar arriba de ello.
You have to be on top of him because of the sunblock. Because a kid gets burned differently than a child's. Yeah. So I made sure that I reapplied his sunblock and that everything was good. So I was like, you know what? Screw that to the 10 people.
Oh man,
I'm still traumatized over Melissa's tent.
You sound like it. I think you might have some PTSD.
Yeah, because the thing with her tent was that it wasn't one of these accordion tents.
Oh no! It was like a tent you would put out for like a garden party.
So to our listeners, we have a very good friend that she has 2 daughters, and when her daughters were small, she still lived here in Miami. She lives in Atlanta now. And she was the type that when she went to the beach, she liked to have literally the kitchen sink, a tent, chairs. I don't even take a chair to the beach.
No,
I don't.
What for?
I don't take a chair to the beach.
What
sit in the
for?
sand.
You have a towel.
I've never. Yeah, I don't even like to sit in a chair.
I don't need it. I mean, I'll sit in one, but I don't need it.
You get right. If there's a chair, I'll sit one, but I won't take a chair. But anyway, she would take chairs and the large cooler, and again, I had to lug it all. But her tent was not one of the accordion tents, that you just open up.
Right.
Her tent you had to build. It had like
I'm saying it was like you were doing a garden party in like antebellum South.
Right, you had to build. It had 50 pieces, and you have to put them together. Then you have to put the canopy, and then you have to hold it to the ground. And I would usually get the one stuck doing that. So I was, screw the damn tent. Well, that's my rant about the tent.
Oh my God, it's funny though because you know how you're saying that somos un exagerado and there's we take so many things to the beach and what have you. So I'm not exactly related, but kind of on a similar note. So you know how they've been giving away food, because for various reasons. The county has been basically, if you go to certain places, they've got food drives. They've got you can go pick it up because the schools have all this food that they need to get rid of. There's the farmers with the crops and all that. So Latinos, we love to go get free shit. So both my mother and my sister, de vez en cuando they go and they pass by, and the way that it works is that you drive up, you open the trunk.
Right, they put it in your trunk.
They just put shit in there. You don't know what you get until you get home.
Right.
So my sister. It's by un gallo tapao. So, we're there. My sister says, she's there. She sees the car in front of her. They open the trunk. They put a bunch of stuff in. She's like, oh, there's like a little bucket. But she didn't think anything of it. She's like, okay, well, I don't know what the bucket is, but okay, maybe I won't even get one. So she gets home. Do you know what the bucket was? 11 pounds of Greek yogurt.
11 pounds of Greek yogurt?
But wait, I can do one better. My mother went this past week. And again, similar scenario. She pulled in, she opened the trunk, they put stuff in. They gave her 7 dozen eggs, hard-boiled eggs.
Hard-boiled? Because I was saying, if it's 7 dozen eggs,
you can bake, you can do things,
you can
right?
Bake it, and you could give them to other people. 7 dozen
hard-boiled eggs. I think it's like the funniest thing in the world. Like my sister's going to be using Greek yogurt for the next 8 years.
7 dozen hard-boiled eggs?
And the problem is that they're hard-boiled, so you can only do 2 things with it.
What do you do with 84 cooked eggs?
I'm thinking lots of egg salad.
A lot of egg salad.
A lot of egg salad.
Too bad she didn't get that before Mother's Day. Egg salad for everybody.
For everybody. And then, 11 pounds of Greek yogurt because it's Greek yogurt.
No, the Greek yogurt, you could do a lot with it. You could do different sauces.
It's 11 pounds, Darian.
Well, she has 3 strapping boys. They could eat. They could look if each one of them eats a pound of yogurt a day. In less than 4 days, they will go through all the yogurt.
Okay, if they eat a pound of yogurt a day, they're gonna be constipated.
Their calcium will be on point.
This is true. They'll have the healthiest bones in Homestead.
So, yeah, it's funny. I've seen that. I had a coworker of mine tell me that like a friend of hers or something did that, and she, it's one of those situations like she's a single mother and she's out of a job, and she went to one of these food bank things, and she has 3 kids, like 3 all school age kids, and she says that everything they put in her trunk were vegetables, but not like not like
my mother and my sister.
Not like cool vegetables.
No,
it was like
it's zucchini. Lots of zucchini
and okra.
I didn't get okra. My mother, every time she goes, again, to your point, they give her lots of zucchini, lots of squash. Zucchini and squash. Yeah. I have never eaten so much zucchini and squash in my life.
You don't want to complain because they're giving it away. It's
free. Exactly.
You don't want to be one of those people. At the end of the day, it's free and they're giving it away and they don't have to.
And if you don't want it, do something else with it.
I think it's just funny. It's like, man, what do you do with a whole bushel of like okra?
Because it's not like carrots, mangoes.
Or like mangoes, o mango.
Oye, los mangos este año los mangos se van a podrir, by the way.
Why?
Because nobody's going to their office. You can't.
Nobody's going to their office to give them away.
Yes. Se van a podrir. Like, I keep getting mangoes.
The way we distribute mangoos here in Miami.
I keep getting mangoes, and I'm just like, I can only eat so many mangoes. I made shakes. I made mermelada. I had them, like by themselves.
Mira que mango rico.
It is so good.
Yeah. It's so incredible that I remember I think I may have mentioned this in a previous recording, that I was talking to a friend of mine recently about guava, and it was such a like foreign thing to him. I'm like, in Miami, everything's guava. Yeah. Everything is guava. From the pastries, guava ice cream, guava cheesecake,
guava sauce,
guava chicken, guava sauce, guava barbecue sauce.
Yes. Like our boy Burger Beast.
Yes, like everything was guava. And it's like you kind of take for granted that that's not
the norm.
How it is for most people, the norm. And I'm like, but how can you not discover guava? Guava's amazing. No, I mean, seriously, guava's amazing.
It's just wonderful. I mean, I get it. Some people say que es demasiado dulce, no empalagante. I get it, but I mean, we grew up with it. So for us, it's like,
Well, no, but it depends what type of guava you're having. Because if you're having like a guava paste, that's the most condensed like form of it.
Right.
But you could have like a guava marmalade or like a guava shake or like
guava ice cream or a guava.
Guava. Let me tell you, guava and mangoes, we are blessed.
I wonder if anybody's ever done like guava empanizado.
Guava empanizado. Like you mean like get a
just,
little piece of the guava thing and
like just fry that bitch.
That sounds interesting.
You see?
Like instead of a mozzarella stick, it's a guava stick.
It's funny that you went guava stick because I said it's like I was gonna say like una croqueta de guayaba.
Oh, and what about if you put the cheese? We need to have this conversation
offline.
So
yes, offline. You know what? Ya que you're in the baking mood, that's another thing for you to explore.
So I wanted to address something that we spoke about in a previous episode. I thought this was so, I think in a couple of episodes we've talked about how there's so many people that have been protesting in their state capitals regarding the lockdown and regarding, the stay-at-home rules.
The masks and all that. Yeah.
They're saying that it's unconstitutional, blah, 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 blah. That, as we said here, their Second Amendment rights are being violated, and we're not sure how. Well, this is gonna be when I read this. This is what I immediately thought about you. So one of the hotbeds for this has been Michigan, and in Michigan they've continued to make these.
They're like really strict, and like we've said. I mean,
no, but Michigan has started, like a lot of states, to
open up,
on the rules.
Okay.
And but people are still protesting. So So listen to this. So in the latest protest, which was actually on Thursday,
Oh, okay.
so
Wow.
yesterday, there were people in the Michigan Capitol who were protesting the, obviously the stay-at-home orders.
Right.
They were protesting, in favor of their Second Amendment. I just can't even say their Second Amendment rights being grappled, and they were also criticizing the medical movement for the medical movement because they're anti-vaxxers.
Wait, these are anti-vaxxers who want to have guns and leave their house? That's wonderful. That is wonderful. I think we've officially created a new Venn diagram because that is a whole lot of fucking intersectionality right there.
They're part of the medical freedom movement and they're anti-vaxxers. I'm like, okay. So they're protesting the stay-at-home orders. Okay.
Fine.
Okay, we can give them that. Somehow the Second Amendment got in this. We're not sure how. But now we're talking about anti-vaxxers? Like,
actually, you know what? Es lo que faltaba. These are people who want basically the right to die. So you know what? Let them have it. Have at it.
I think with everything that's going on, I think there's certain humor, but it's like tragic humor.
Oh,
because
dark humor.
Again, these are people that I don't think this is a majority. This is a very small, loud, vocal, and stubborn minority, right? And that's always existed. That's not
always
something
been the case, yeah. Esto no es nuevo.
It's just that now people, as we have said here a million times through social media, people have the voice now to
amplify,
say whatever they want to say and amplify. But I just think it's really interesting that these people really believe that their rights are being trampled on, and that whatever it is, whether it's their guns or vaccines or whatever, they really believe that there's some type of tyranny in terms of their governor. And mind you, none of them are criticizing the president; they're criticizing the governor. I guess in a way they don't. They don't understand how federalism works.
Yeah, but ultimately the governor is the one that can say, as far as the stay-at-home orders, the governor is the one that can lift those orders.
Yes, it is. It is the governor. But the president is the one who has issued fighting words time and time again through Twitter, right? It's just interesting to me that people, like so many people go along with it. But then again, as you say, I still have hope in humanity, and you say you don't.
I'm a little more jaded, but I will say this: there was a protest that happened. I believe it was this week here in Florida. That I'm actually, I support the protest in and of itself. However, I think it kind of shot itself in the foot. And no, it didn't involve any guns. Did you hear about the one that took place? I think it was this guy who's a gym owner.
No.
Okay. So I don't remember exactly where. I know it was here in Florida. This guy, he's a gym owner. Him and I guess his fellow either gym owners or people who he works out with, fitness buffs, whatever. They went in front of his gym to stage a protest because they wanted, they wanted the gym to open up. So far I'm like, okay, you know what? That's fine. That's your business. You're going to go stand in front of it to make a point, what have you. They then noticed that they were being covered by the media. And so what they decided to do was they're like, I think it was just one of those things that he thought of at the moment. He's like, well, we're being covered and we're in front of a gym. Like, you know what? Let's start doing push-ups. That's our protest or what have you. The problem is that essentially by doing that, what he's shown is that you can still work out at home without a gym. So you kind of defeated your own purpose there. But again, I was with you. You know what? There were no guns. It was an organized thing. It was in front of his business.
Okay, right.
But it's like, and I even thought, okay, that's clever. But then it's like, oh yeah, no, that just means you can still do it at home, doesn't it? Like,
gosh. What is your feeling about reopening gyms? So if your gym were to reopen tomorrow or next week, would you go?
I don't think I would go. Mostly because people don't clean up after themselves at the gym when
No, on a regular
when
day.
there isn't a pandemic going on. So I'm really not all that confident about
The
about it
only
now.
way I would, I wouldn't go either. The only way that I would even consider going is to do cardio only, and I'll explain why. Because I feel that if I go with a mask and I go to a cardio machine and I clean it up,
You have
I
control
myself
over that.
clean it up. I have control over that machine for that moment.
Yeah, I saw something the other day that they're it's one of those like proposals, but not really a proposal. It's like an artist rendering that moving forward, because of all this, they you should put like plexiglass separators between each treadmill and what have you. And again, I like that in theory because you're blocking from the people next to you. But then, do you think that the average person is going to clean that plexiglass?
But that's why I tell you that, like, if I go to work out on a treadmill or whatever stationary machine, like especially with cardio,
right?
I can go with my mask, even gloves. I can disinfect it, get on the treadmill for an hour, and be on my merry way.
Yeah.
The problem is when you go weight train, that's impossible because you're not going to be disinfecting every set of dumbbells that you get.
Well, first of all, theoretically it could be done if you have somebody there to disinfect it when people re-rack the weights. However, nobody re-racks the weights.
It can't. It's just not. It's not. Okay, it's not impossible. Yeah, can it be done? Yes, but in a gym, like,
logistically,
for example,
yeah.
we both go to very large gyms,
Yeah,
right?
It's not feasible.
It's not feasible because at one point in time, where the dumbbells are, where the free weights are, you have at one point in time 20, 30 people using free weights,
and everybody's
so
waiting.
You're talking about an enormous amount of people putting weights back and forth.
Yeah.
How many times you do a set with a certain weight and then you go up to another weight and then you go down. So logistically, it just doesn't work. The only place that could work is, for example, like a private gym when I lived at the condo.
Okay, yes.
Right?
Yes.
That at one point, it was a full-fledged gym, but because it was private, there was only a certain amount of people there at a certain time. There was maybe no more on a busy day than 10 people.
Yeah.
So there may be if you have one or two people like wiping everything down as you finish, maybe
it would help.
But in a big commercial gym, it just doesn't work.
No.
Aside from the fact that you are in an environment of sweat, so just mist and humidity is in the air. I think that gyms, and I'm dying to go back to the gym.
Same here.
But gyms are ones that are I don't see in the near future how it's going to work out. Because again, maybe for something like a treadmill, because again, you can control that environment for that moment that you're there, and hope that nobody around you.
Yes, in
there's
fact,
nobody.
Yeah, no, but again,
no, but back to the treadmill.
That's like any other time you go, and it's like if it's flu season, you know what I mean? Like
but back to the especially the cardio machines. They could also make it that you can only use every other machine.
Right, you can control it more.
Right, you could control it a little bit more. Okay, you can only use every other machine or every two machines or whatever. So people are not on top of each other. And again, you can wipe down your machine. And also when you're doing cardio, it's much less of it's not a contact sport. You're either running or you're
solo.
Right, but weight training involves so many machines and so many free weights and so much moving around. The benches, you're sweating. I don't see how it. I'm dying to go back to the gym, and so.
Although I much prefer to do my shirtless jogging.
Well, of course, and you're giving the gift that keeps on giving. So I wanna an update on another little nugget of joy that we talked about here on the show. So last week, I believe, we talked about the Texas salon owner in Dallas who was jailed for opening her salon.
Yes.
Have you heard the part 2 of that story?
I have not, but you know what? We can hear part 2 when we come back
after our break.
After our break here from our sponsors. May, la primavera, flowers in bloom, and even better, it's National Burger Month, and Cuban Guys Restaurants has got the best way to celebrate. During National Burger Month, order a burger crafted by our own Burger Beast from the Cuban Guys locations in Hialeah, Kendall, and Miramar. Just jump online. You can go to CubanGuysRestaurants.com or even order through Facebook Messenger and get a delicious Burger Beast burger for pickup or delivery. Mira, you have so many options. You can get a traditional Beast burger. You can get a Beast burger a caballo, which means it's got a fried egg on it. That's so damn good. You can get the Georgie Boy, which not only includes tartar sauce, but also features Burger Beast's signature Beast sauce. Yeah, it is a ketchup that has guava, sriracha, and I don't even have words to tell you how delicious it is. And you can buy a bottle through Cuban Guys Restaurants too. Cuban Guys also offers fritas, sandwich cubano, medianoche, un tostón sandwich. I mean, the options are endless. And because there's so much to try, why not use promo code PERO and get 10% off your total order? Cuban Guys Restaurants, Burger Beast, and 10% off with promo code PERO? I'm just saying, that sounds like the perfect Miami combo to us. Cuban Guys Restaurants. It's not just fast food, it's awesome food fast. Happy primavera, mi gente. The flowers are in bloom, the grass is growing, and it's way time to trim that overgrown hedge growing below the belt with some help from Manscaped. Mira, I've been using Manscaped's Lawnmower 3.0 body trimmer for a couple weeks now, and there hasn't been one nick or irritant on these nuts. I mean, what could be better? How about the Perfect Package 3.0? What's the perfect package? Bueno, that's generally a matter of preference, but Manscaped's Perfect Package 3.0 offers everything needed for spring cleaning those tumbleweeds between your legs. It's not just the waterproof cordless Lawnmower 3.0, but an anti-chafing ball deodorant and moisturizer, which, as a Miami boy, I know the importance of keeping your balls from sticking to your legs just walking from your house to your car. Caballero, hay una humedad del carajo. And thanks to their Crop Reviver spray, your balls will smell fresh as a daisy. And now you can get Manscaped's Perfect Package for 20% less with free shipping by using promo code PERO20. That's right, use promo code PERO20 at manscaped.com, because who doesn't like paying less for a perfect package? It's time for some spring cleaning. Your balls will thank you.
And we're back. So what were we talking about? We were talking
the La Peluquera from Houston.
La peluquera, of course.
Duh.
I'm sure that in Dallas they call it una unisex.
Oh, I haven't heard that in forever.
You know it's so funny. That remember in the 80s, we've talked about this here on the show. For some reason, salons were called unisex.
Yeah, I don't know why. And they all had this lady. I don't know if you can see me in the Zoom. That lady,
the black and white.
Yes.
Yeah. I
like,
know what lady you're talking about.
The minute that you decided to call it unisex, they just gave you that painting. They were just like, here, you'll need this.
They're called una unisex. Who knew that they were so ahead of their time?
That's true.
Now that we're talking about
gender fluidity and all that, you know what? We were gender fluid in the 80s when it came to hair salons.
Una unisex.
Take that, millennials.
Anyway, so this lady from Texas, Shelley Luther, she was the one that last week we talked about because it made national news because she refused to close down her salon in Texas, or she reopened it ahead of time because, as she said, she was starving and she
needs to feed her family.
And so did the other people in the salon, because she had other
she's the owner.
People that worked in the salon. And she went in front of the judge, and the judge told her that she needed to apologize for being selfish in opening and not caring about people's health. Mm-hmm. And, she went on and on how she disinfected the salon and how they were taking measures to make sure that everything was clean. And, the people cutting hair had masks and all that, right? And I even said here on the show that while I think that maybe she shouldn't have opened, I also was not,
she shouldn't go to jail for
it. I wasn't agreeing with the judge that she should apologize publicly and say that she was, being selfish, because at the end of the day, she was trying to provide for her family. And, being out of work is something that is a very real thing right now to a lot of people. And it's a grim reality. Well, what we did not know.
Oh, there's a twist.
There's a twist that 2 days before that hearing that went national, she had received $18,000 from the payment protection plan into her bank account.
Okay, but that's so that she could pay off the employees, right? Isn't that what that's for payroll?
That's so she could the payment that is so she could continue her business.
Oh, okay. But wait a minute. Right. So she had already received this when she opened up her salon?
She had already received it. She had received it 2 days earlier.
Okay.
2 days earlier. So when she was saying that, she had already received the money.
But she hadn't received the money when she opened the salon.
I don't know if she had received the money when she opened the salon, but she had received the money by the time she
was
got
in
to
court.
The hearing.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
That changes everything. Because if your argument is that you don't have money to put food on the table and you received $18,000 from the stimulus fund, you now have money to put food on the table, at least for now. Right? Obviously, $18,000 is not going to last an eternity. And let's say she would only get a cut of that. Obviously, that's not going to solve all her problems. But at least for that moment, she had money to put food on the table. In her specific case.
Right.
We're not talking about other cases. So when that came to light this week and she made her rounds in different shows, when people were telling her that, were asking her, hey, but you received this money 2 days before. Her answer was like, yeah, but she didn't know what to do with that money. There weren't any instructions on what for her to do with the money.
But the instructions were in the application.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say. I'm like, wait a minute, but if you got the money, you applied for it. And if you applied for it, you knew what it was for. And if you applied for it and went through the rigorous application
because it is not an easy process.
You knew what it was about and you knew what it was for. So how can you say you didn't know what that money was? Right. So
see, I would have even been on her side if she had opened it up, because, as we know, a lot of people applied for it, and not everybody got it, right? So if she had applied for it and said, you know what, fuck it, I can't wait, I'm gonna open up for this weekend, whatever, and then after she got arrested, the money hit her account, and then she went to court and she said, look, Your Honor, I was doing it for XYZ reason. However, since then, my PPP has come through. Blah, blah, blah. Like, I would still be on her side because I get it. Like, a lot of people applied for this loan and didn't get it.
Yeah, it's everybody is literally in the same boat, and I know it's hard to be patient, because I can't imagine, a situation like what we talked about of, like, let's say in a household, both people are out of work and they have kids, and
and the rent still gotta get paid. The food
the rent is still right. It's coming. Mortgages, rent, all that is coming. When you're in that situation and that reality,
you do what you gotta do.
Hearing people say like, "Oh, you gotta be patient." It's like, screw you. It's like
it's easy for you to say,
It's easy for you to say, but at the end of the day, it's like people need to be patient, because this is something that, like, nobody has an easy solution to. There's no easy solution.
I get it, but at the same time, like, I think that the concern is, how long are you supposed to be patient? You know what I mean? And that's because we're going on 2 months now, and I can understand people saying, like, I've been patient, I've tried, I can't, here in Florida, I can't apply for unemployment because I can't get through.
Right.
You know what I mean? So how long are they supposed to wait until they're living under a bridge?
No, I agree. That is something that here in Florida, they have certainly dropped the ball, because there's people who filed unemployment in March who still have not gotten anything.
Yeah.
And then now it's been 2 weeks, 2 months. But I also think there's a lot to be said about the financial industry, because, all these companies, whether it's banks, mortgage lenders, and all that, these people have been bailed out time and time again in the past historically. And now that, people are, like, literally, in this predicament, it's like, shit, can they take a
Pero hello,
people?
You were just telling me the story about with your dad and leasing his car.
My father's lease was up, and his car right up in the middle of this. His lease was up mid-April, and the dealer where he got his new car from, they were fine. They were great. They did
and
what
it's
they
the same
had to
dealer,
do.
because you guys have been leasing cars forever.
It's the same dealer, and he got the same exact car, like exactly in the same color and everything. They literally came to the house, they swapped the car, they left him the paperwork, they did everything on the phone. All he had to do was sign. They left him the paperwork, he signed it, and then they took the paperwork and they swapped the car.
Okay.
Right? So that was it. But from the finance company, this is not the dealer, the finance company, which is one of the, major big finance companies in the country, that commercial that they have is like, oh, we'll pay for your first 4 months.
See, we're here for you. Yeah.
Bro, we're here for you. Yeah, I called, and they're like, no, he doesn't qualify because he was not laid off. And I'm like, well, but that's not what your commercial says. Your commercial says that,
right, we're here for you. Yeah. you didn't give me the
and then, I was telling you, I was trying to change his due date because he prefers a due date on the 1st rather than mid-month. And they're like, okay, we'll change it, but he still has to pay the first month, and then the first month in the mid-month
and then
payment,
effect.
and then right, and I'm like, okay, so he has to pay in the middle of the month, and then he has to pay
15 days
2
later.
weeks later.
Yeah,
right. So it's like, okay, where's the break? Finance company, and the other thing with like the mortgages, a lot of people are saying like, lenders are giving you 120 days for you not pay your mortgage.
Right.
I would tell people to be very weary of that and to be very careful.
Why?
Because of the following. So if a lender tells you when you take out a mortgage, it's a contract.
Okay.
Right? It's
standard.
It's a standard contract. I mean, obviously it's a mortgage, but think about it as a contract.
Right. You are agreeing to comply with these parameters.
Contracts have clauses. The clauses in a mortgage is that you will pay X amount of money each month for the duration of the mortgage, generally 30 years, right? So if you have a lender telling you, hey, I know things are really tough right now, we're going to give you a 120-day extension, which is 4 months. So you don't have to pay these 4 months, right? Right. That is, in essence, a modification of your mortgage because you are now modifying the original agreement because you are out of work due to the coronavirus. So generally what they'll do is that they'll add those 4 months to the end of your mortgage.
You're not getting out of those 4 months.
Fine. But that is a modification of your mortgage. The reason I would be weary is as follows. Because right now, they were telling you this, but let's say that the 120 days are up. You have to start paying your mortgage. They're probably going to send you modification paperwork. And you know what? If you're not working at that point, who's to tell you that you're going to qualify?
Oh, shit.
I'm not saying that is necessarily going to happen, but that is what happened. But that is what happened last time in 2008. I dealt with thousands of mortgage modifications, between 2008 and 2014, 15, 16. That's when it started slowing down. I've dealt a lot with them, and that's what happened. That people would want to modify their mortgage, and they either weren't working, or they weren't making a lot of money, or they weren't making the amount of money they were making when they originally took out the mortgage.
Right.
So now they didn't qualify for the modification. So 4 months from now, or 120 days from now, when they tell you, oh, that's when you'll start paying, if they send you modification paperwork and they start asking for your income and all that stuff, and you're not working or you're still furlonged, what's to tell you that they're not going to say, oh, you're sorry, you don't qualify, and now you're in a hole.
Yeah, because now you don't have a house that you were in.
No, now it's going to be hard for you to get modified, and that was the whole drama. Because modifying a mortgage in reality is not difficult at all. I mean, you literally just modify the mortgage.
Yeah, but so long as you meet all of the requirements.
Right, but they start adding requirements like, oh, you have to make this amount of money, you have to make that amount of money, and what is your collateral, and what's the price of the home? Obviously, this can even affect home values. So, I mean,
no, it's a Pandora's box.
Right. That is the learn part of the listen, laugh, and learn. So I feel we got to say something funny.
We do. I mean, we can only talk about, 11 pounds and 7 dozen, hard-boiled eggs for so long.
Oh my God. I still can't believe that.
Well, I'm actually going to go get my dozen tomorrow. So,
You're going to actually go get a dozen eggs?
from my mother's house, yes.
And what are you going to do with that dozen eggs, Demi?
Well, with a dozen hard-boiled eggs, 1 dozen is okay. Like, I can have a hard-boiled egg in the morning for breakfast. I can make an egg salad. 12 eggs I can get rid of fairly quickly.
I was going to say, if you're like
Gaston, yes. I don't want to be roughly the size of a barge.
So, you know what's been one of my highlights of the coronavirus? I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say highlights of the coronavirus because it's terrible at the end of the day. But
yeah, but silver lining, I guess.
So I now spend every day with Tristan. Like, be careful what you wish for.
How's that going? Because I know that you used to. I mean, obviously you've been self-employed for the longest time.
So it's going. Look, it's going as well as it's going for everybody, right? You have your high moments, you have your low moments, you have moments I want to throw him out the window.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, like, you always had a little bit more time with him, just because since you're self-employed, if you had to go to the doctor,
I would always generally have right,
things like that,
right. But now we went from 0 to 100 very quickly. So, and it's fine. It's fine. There are moments that he starts acting up, and then I have to step out of the situation and be like, he's very frustrated.
Yeah.
Kids manifest anxiety in different ways, and maybe
energy.
that is how he's manifesting his anxiety. But so one of the things that, and this is a personal note now, that he has really, really gotten into during the quarantine, he's gotten into Full and Fuller House. Both of them.
In that order?
He goes back and forth. Like,
okay.
He originally was into the original first because he loved Michelle, but then in the new one, he loves Max.
Okay, Max is wonderful.
Max is awesome. I think the other day he said, "Holy chalupa."
Did you see the new trailer for the final couple episodes?
I did.
It made me smile. Like
smile. I got choked up.
Well, it felt, I don't know, it gave me like a good feelings. You know what I mean? Like,
it's funny because like the people who do like the production or promotion, I guess, for Fuller House, they really, really know how to drill in that nostalgia because it's like we've been family for over 30 years.
They also really, really know how to edit because Michelle is nowhere to be seen in that trailer.
Okay, we don't need her.
No, but I'm saying, you would think, like, if you saw that trailer, you would be like, didn't they have a baby at one point? Like,
I love that they've kind of made fun of it. That Danny's like, there's a scene in season 5 that Danny's like, I'm so happy to have 3 daughters again.
Yeah.
But Tristan has gotten really into Full House and Fuller House, and it's funny the things that he says because like he's only 6. Like he'll say like, Danny's gotten older, and then he'll see John Stamos and he's like, Papa, why does Uncle Jesse look the same, but
Greek
Danny
yogurt
doesn't?
11
Greek yogurt. There we go.
11 pounds of Greek yogurt. That's
full circle. So I think I told you that when he was like very into the original and all he loves like Michelle's character. I'm like, how am I going to tell him that there's 2 of them?
Oh, just let him watch the one where they go to Greece.
Yes. Well, no, when Greece comes to them.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. The Tanners never went abroad.
Oh no, they only went to Disney.
And Hawaii.
How about that? That's right.
The clipboard of fun. Hello. But Fuller House, they go to Japan.
They made up for lost time.
Yeah. So he's really into it. Like he's super invested in it. And it's funny because the other day he was saying something like, DJ should be with Steve, not with Matt. And I'm like, I was totally team Matt for a minute there. Like, so it just makes me happy.
Nice. You get to share that
that
with him.
he is so into a show that was such a big part of my like childhood and adolescence and my adulthood. Hence that we went to a recording.
Yes, I was gonna say, have you told him? Does he like know? Because when we went, he was a little younger.
No. Well, a little younger, 5 months ago.
Well, no, but I mean, but for kids, like when they for them to register certain things, like either they're not paying attention to it because if he wasn't into Full House at the moment, no le importaba. You know what I mean?
No, he knows because he distinctly remembers when we went to California last year.
Oh, okay.
But I've shown him pictures of the set, and then I showed him pictures with Kimmy and with Juan Pablo. Bueno, I have to call him Fernando because. Oh, you know what was so cute that he did the other day? I have Andrea Barber's Autobiography.
Yes.
And we were looking through it, and obviously it has pictures. So there's a picture that she has, Andrea Barber, with her real daughter the day she was born. Like, she's carrying the baby. Right. And Tristan looks at it and goes, "Is that Ramona the day she was born?" So yeah,
like yes,
yes
it is.
So I think that because it's we have them in every 10 increments, this would be a good time to bring him in.
Yes.
So okay, let me bring him in.
All right, everybody. It is, as you know, every 10 episodes we got a special guest. Our favorite special guest is Tristan. What's up, buddy?
Hi.
How are you?
Hi.
You're
I just had an ice cream.
Ooh, what flavor?
Chocolate.
Ooh, I love chocolate ice cream. Yummy. So what have you been up to?
Oh, me? I've just been driving a little bit. My grandparents came to the house, but then now I'm watching TV. But then I had an ice cream, which was the ice cream I just told you. Then my dad called when I just finished. I needed to wash my mouth, so it took a little.
So tell him about Full House and Fuller House.
Yes, I hear you're a big fan.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
Yeah? Which one's your favorite? Fuller House or Full House?
I like them both the same.
Yeah? Who's your favorite character?
Yeah. Oh, my favorite character in Fuller House is Max. My favorite in Full House is Joey.
Joey?
Joey, cut it out.
I love Joey with Mr. Woodchuck. Is that made of?
Yeah.
What?
I know. My favorite in Full House, Joey. My favorite in Fuller House, Max.
Oh, see,
Hey,
your dad thought that your favorite in Full House was Michelle.
Do you know that's made out of? Wood. What did Ish ask you?
No, I was saying that your dad thought that your favorite on Full House was Michelle.
Oh yeah. My favorite of Full House is Michelle and Joey.
Oh, okay, cool. And what is it that you like about Joey? You like his Popeye impression?
No, he is super funny in Full House.
You know what I tell him all the time? What's one of my favorite sayings? No, leave it. What's one of my favorite sayings from Full House? Is it Kimmy? Is it Kevin? Is it Kathy?
Is it someone with a K?
Anybody that starts with a K.
He's my child.
He is your child. He is your child. Have you seen it? Actually, it's funny because Dave Coulier is on Worst Cooks in America, Celebrity Edition.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah, he's 60. And
he is?
He's 55-ish.
No, he's 55-ish.
55-ish?
You know he says that, right?
No.
In the very first episode of Fuller House, which he loves, he's seen 100 times, there's a moment where Jesse goes, "Look at him, he's 60 and wearing Bugs Bunny pajamas." He goes, "I'm 55-ish."
Oh.
And these happen to be brand new.
He loves the first episode of each series, of Full House and of Fuller House. Like, he cracks up in the first episode of Full House when Joey and Jesse
bathe Michelle in the sink.
In the sink, he cracks up in that part.
But okay, so I know you've been home a lot because of the coronavirus. What's your favorite part about staying at home? Is it just hanging out with your mom and your dad? Almost.
You got it close.
Is it hanging out with your dogs?
No, my grandparents coming.
Oh, that's your favorite part about staying home?
Yeah, they come sometimes, my grandparents.
Oh, that's nice. That's cool that you love your grandparents.
They get off.
Like, they get out of the car and they come in the house, or they just, like, stay in the porch?
They get out of the car and come in the house.
Oh, okay. Well, I would hope so. I mean, they're not a Great Dane. You don't keep them in the car.
Okay, I think that's it for the episode interview portion of Tristan's our 110th episode. Thank you for stopping by.
Thanks for swinging by, buddy.
So that was Tristan. It's funny because, as I said, be careful what you wish for. I wanted more with him. I wanted more time. Great.
Now you got more time.
Now I have him every day.
Tristan in the morning, Tristan in the evening.
Wednesdays, he gets to spend all day with his mother. And it's like, that is your day, baby. You go over here. And then the other 4 days of the week, he's mine. So we went from 1 day to 4, but it's okay.
This too shall pass.
Because my day with him was always Fridays.
Right, yeah.
But we went from 1 day to 4, and it's fine because I also see it from the point of view that him and I are kind of bonding, and I feel that
you don't get this time back.
That a lot of times, life is very busy, from you being busy to work to school for kids, stuff like that. When you have limited time with your kids, and especially me, that it was generally always Fridays that I would spend it with him. You try to jam pack everything, like let's go to Chuck E. Cheese, let's go here, let's go there. That a lot of times you just don't have like downtime. Like let's sit here and watch Fuller House
and just hang out, like literally get to know each other.
Right. Like let's watch Full House and talk about that. So yeah. How long have we been running?
We were running about 12 minutes before, now 52, so about an hour and change.
Okay, so anyway, so there is something else that I actually want to talk about, and it's something pretty, and but I feel that we have, with this podcast, we have a platform.
Okay.
And although our whole shtick is listen, laugh, and learn, and we want people to laugh with us and have a good time, there's also some things that I feel that with this platform, at least I feel
little
responsible or duty for saying. And just like last week, we talked about the whole thing with running with Ahmad, and we talked about his, that case. This week,
actually, I don't think we've talked about that.
We didn't?
I don't think so.
Oh my gosh! You know what? Yes, because I put it in my personal Instagram. This is, I don't know if this happens to you with your personal Instagram.
They blend.
Do you know how many times I posted personal stuff on our Instagram, and I'm like, and then I'll see somebody liking on the picture that, and I'm like, that person doesn't like my picture. I'm like, oh, wrong, or vice versa. I'll post.
You'll be like, you'll call me and you'll tell me, you'll be like, yeah, I posted, XYZ, and I'll be like, no, you didn't. I'm on the page right now. And you're like, yes, I did, and I'll be like, yeah, it's on your page.
It happens to me more in that order, that I post. But let me tell you stuff
on yours. Yeah.
But on my personal Instagram, I first world problem. So last week on my personal Instagram, I posted about Ahmad Arbery, who was a guy who was jogging in his...
in Georgia, right?
He was jogging. Was it in Georgia? Yes, it was in Georgia. Okay, no, let's start that over again. So last week on my personal Instagram, I did a post about Ahmad Arbery, who was a man who was jogging in a neighborhood, and he was, I think, gunned down and murdered.
I mean, he was gunned down, period.
By two men. And this had happened back in February, I believe.
Yeah.
But it didn't get national attention until the video was released.
Until like 3 weeks ago.
No, like last week. It was like last week that it got attention.
Oh.
And like it just exploded. So basically, he was jogging in this neighborhood, and he was wearing jogging, like typical jogging gear, like a t-shirt, short shorts, tennis shoe, sneakers. Right. It's not like he was jogging down the street in like, a full-blown sweater and like
a sweatsuit, right?
And like army boots,
right?
Like
covered from head to toe, right?
Right. He was in obvious working out clothes, And these two men were following him, and they blocked the street. And there was actually a third man who was following him as well. And he tried to jog around them, and one of them had a shotgun. There was a bit of a scuffle because they got in his face, and they shot him, and they shot and killed him.
Right.
And obviously, the whole thing was like, why were these two people after him? Why did they even think like to follow him?
Right.
The two men who did that said that they were going to do a citizen's arrest.
You don't do a citizen's arrest with a shotgun.
Because there was a string of robberies.
Break-ins, yeah.
Break-ins in that neighborhood. And that was their whole justification for it. Not that he was black, of course.
Right. Well, it's never that. That's always second.
Not that he's black, but they said, to quote one of them, he was, in the police report, it said that he was like running like hell, or like something, like that he was running very fast. So the video is shown, and you could see that he was obviously being chased by a car, because the car that was behind him was videotaping him. And
wait, the car, these two men's car, they were videotaping this?
They were. So what happened was that
That's
the
what
two
I don't
men,
understand. Where does the video come from?
The two men started to follow him.
Okay.
When they started to follow him, they called another friend of ours, and they're like, "Hey, we're following this black guy running. Get in your car because he's the burglar." Right?
Okay.
So that other man started chasing him. So this poor guy is running. He probably notices that there's two cars that are following him.
Right.
He's already probably scared, or like thinking like, what the hell's going on here?
Right.
Right? The car in front of him, which has the two guys, is in the video. What we see is that the car in front of him is stopped. The car behind him, which is the one filming, is still moving. In the video, you see that he tries to go around the truck, which is stopped, blocking the road, and one of the guys gets in his face with a gun. There's a scuffle, right? And it ends up with him being shot. Right? So their whole defense was that, we thought we were going to perform a citizen's arrest because we thought that he was the burglar that had been, breaking into all these houses in the neighborhood, right? So here's the problem with that logic.
There's no report. There was no reported break-ins, by the way.
There was, well, I'll get there, right? And I looked up the Georgia Citizens Arrest Statute. Under the Georgia Citizens Arrest Statute, which is very similar to most citizens arrest laws, you have to see the person committing the crime at the time that you want to do the citizen's arrest.
So in other words, this person had to be coming out of a house that he had just broken into.
He better have seen that man breaking into that house and leaving that house with like something,
right.
Like he had to have the obvious break-in and the, leaving the property in order for there to be a citizen's arrest. There was none of that. He didn't break into a house. There is this back and forth because there is a house in that neighborhood that has been under construction for a while, and there's like no windows and no doors. So there's people who like, go sneak in. I have done that a million times to things that are under construction.
Of course.
A million times I've done that. So apparently he did that. He may or may have not done that. Apparently he did that. I don't even know if these guys saw him do that.
Right.
But let's say that he did. Obviously, that wasn't a break-in. This is a house that has no doors and no windows. So you're literally not breaking into anything. The owner of the house that is under construction says that he knows that there's people that are doing that, and he doesn't have a problem with it because, apparently there hasn't been an issue that they have, stolen.
Right. Nothing's been broken. Nothing's been stolen.
So the owner of the house didn't have a problem with it. So these men took it on their own because they saw a black guy running down the street to do what they did, right? And they're like, no, race was not involved, right? I'm sure that, if, blonde Chad was running down the street, they wouldn't have questioned it twice. But they're like, no, race is not a factor here. Bueno, the problem also is that they're the McMichaels. It's father and son.
Yes.
The McMichael Sr. or
The
the
father.
father worked for the police department of that area
Yes.
for like 20 or 30 years. And he worked also with the prosecutor's office, right?
Yeah.
So you have a major conflict of interest
Huge.
there. Huge. So when this case came about, several prosecutors recused themselves, but there was one prosecutor in particular that said that he had seen the evidence and he had seen the video, and he didn't find that there was anything wrong with the way they acted.
There was nothing wrong with them just basically cornering somebody and shooting them dead.
There is nothing wrong. There was nothing wrong with the way they acted. Nothing. So now the GBI, which is the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, is involved. They're thinking of maybe taking this up to a federal level for it to be a hate crime. This is your typical, when people say that racism doesn't exist, or these matters are overblown and the media makes a big deal about it. Well, you know what? No, the media doesn't make a big deal about it. It is a big deal.
Here's the thing.
Because here you have a case.
Go ahead.
No, here you have a case of a black kid. Well, he wasn't a kid. He was in his early 20s, but a black young man minding his own business, jogging. He was clearly jogging. It was the middle of the day. It was noon. I mean, it couldn't be more middle of the day, right? It was the middle of the day. He was jogging. It was clear that he was jogging because he was in exercise clothing, right? He's a black guy. These two white guys are like, what is that black guy doing in our neighborhood running? He must be the burglar. Oh, and by the way, the white guys were like, oh, there's been a string of robberies. The local police department already said that there had not been a string of robberies.
At least reported.
So how are you going to, at least reported. So how are you going to explain to me that is not racially motivated? And how is that man who is a police investigator, who has a experience and knowledge about crime greater than we have, how can that man, just simply by seeing the facts of the time and day, the fact that it was the middle of the day, that he was running, to know that that wasn't a burglar? Because usually burglars don't go in running gear without a car to go burglarize a house, right?
That's a really bad burglar.
Just saying, it's hard to hide, a flat screen TV when all you're wearing
in
is
short
like
shorts.
Yeah, you're jogging. Yes, I mean, call me crazy.
And
but,
as somebody who wears short shorts, it's very difficult.
So that man who has more experience than we do and knowledge on these type of things, you mean to tell me that no, he must be the burglar, and it wasn't racially motivated? That's why these things continue to happen.
We
are in denial. Well, we're not, but people are in denial that these things happen.
The royal we. My biggest concern with this is there wasn't even, or at least there didn't appear to be any type of investigation. Because if you okay, then perfect. Because when you show up, even if you are justified, there is always an investigation. There is always forensic evidence. There is always, you know what I mean? Like, you go through the whole spiel. That didn't even happen. Porque tú me digas, bueno, they went through the whole process, and they determined that it was okay. I don't agree with it, but they went through the process. You know what I mean? No, they didn't even bother.
Nope. That didn't happen. And his mother was told that he was shot because he was breaking into a house.
And then the video shows up.
That's what his mother. That's what the mother believed.
Where did the video
showed
from?
up because the video showed up. The video was given to the prosecutor's office, or to the police department. But what happened was that the video was taken by the guy who was following them, who was in on it as well. He was in on it as well. Mm-hmm. So apparently there had been some local controversy about this. So what he said, the reason he says that he released the video is because he thought that the video was clear up. It was going to clear things up.
Yeah, clear it for them, for the guys.
You just added a fire truck to a fire, So you know what? Thank you actually for releasing the video, sir. Even though that wasn't
he even record it? Is my question. Like, what kind of fucking sick fucktard are you to even record something like that? You weren't going to put that on TikTok.
Right? Because these people, that's the way they think. Oh, there's a black man running. There's a black man running in our neighborhood in the middle of the day. He must be the burglar. Let's go after him and videotape. There he goes. I mean, that's the way that these people think. And they, como ellos dijeron in the police report, that no, it wasn't racially motivated. So what was it motivated? Under what facts? Right? Especially since you are, again, experienced in investigating crimes. So under what facts? But
then you look at that HBO documentary about the Atlanta child murders, and you know that Atlanta's had its fair share of not so great investigations.
Well, this wasn't in Atlanta.
But I'm saying Georgia.
But this could happen anywhere. And again, this is somebody who has a lot of experience, 20, 30 years experience in investigation of crimes, worked for the police department, worked with the prosecutor's office. How can you, just the citizen's arrest statute, which is very easy, you don't have to be a lawyer or a law enforcement officer to understand, how can you say that you were following that statute when you didn't see him commit the burglary, the crime, which is the first prong of the statute?
I think most people also say citizen's arrest and don't really know what it means. You know what I mean? They think
agree
that citizen's arrest is just like, I can tackle you to the ground and I'm making a citizen's arrest.
I agree, but that's not the case. In this case, that can't be the case, because this is a man, again, who worked with law enforcement for 20, 30 years. So he knew what he was doing in terms of the law. So the other case I actually wanted to bring up, which was another case that happened in February, and it was completely swept under the rug, was of Brianna Taylor.
I don't know that one.
Have you heard about that one?
No.
So Brianna Taylor was a nurse, and she was now, through the coronavirus, she was in the front lines, helping people, because she was actually an EMT. And what happened was, this happened in Kentucky. The police department had a warrant to go arrest someone who was supposedly dealing drugs. Okay? Mm-hmm. Now, the person that they were looking for, okay, the warrant that they had to go find this person, not only did they not live in the address where they
went,
poor woman, that Brianna Taylor, not only did he not live in that address, he was under custody.
Oh, wow.
So the person was already under custody, right?
So they were going to go look for somebody who was already arrested
and did not live in this house. So they go to this house at 1 a.m. in the morning. They're unmarked police officers, so they are not wearing a uniform.
Okay.
Right? There is some back and forth as to whether they announce themselves or not. The police say that the police officer said that they announced themselves. Mm-hmm. The Brianna Taylor's boyfriend said that they did not announce themselves. So these officers at 1 o'clock in the morning are trying to get into this house mm-hmm. with, looking for a man that is already under, they already have custody of. They start knocking down the door, so they, Brianna Taylor and her boyfriend, call 911 and they say, hey, somebody is trying to break into my house. They call 911, and there's a 911 tape about this. Okay? So then her boyfriend, who has a license to carry a firearm, so this wasn't an issue that he had, gun, he had an arsenal in his house and he shouldn't have, who has a license to carry a gun. When they're trying to get through the door, he shoots at them.
Because he doesn't know who it is.
He doesn't know who it is. Right. And this is at 1 o'clock in the morning. So they shoot back. 3 of them shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot. And they kill her. She got shot 8 times. Jesus. They killed her. They shot so much that they even shot into the back neighbor's house.
Coño.
Right? So now they arrested him for attempted murder of a police officer.
But, I mean, there's a 911 call.
Yeah. So, yeah. They arrested him for attempted murder of 3 police officers. Mind you, as you said, they called 911 to tell them somebody is breaking in our house. And again, they had no clue because they were looking for a man that doesn't live there and was under, custody already.
Jesus,
so now, of course, this, obviously the coronavirus has predominated
right.
the news. So, it's understood that everything is going to fall to that. But these are the stories. I mean, this would have been an issue during the coronavirus or not. But these are the stories that when you hear, people say that, people that are black are being targeted by the police or targeted by certain people, or black and brown people stand a greater chance of being arrested and this and that. These are the stories that when you see this, it doesn't make sense. Like, how can you say that either this wasn't racially motivated or there wasn't some type of bias? Because, or at the very minimum, in the case of Brianna Taylor,
that's a dicey
because they don't know they don't know who was in there. They don't know who was in the house.
Right.
But at the very minimum, give an apology. You know what I mean? They killed this woman.
Right.
Mistakenly. Let's say it was let's say that at best
it was they fucked up.
It was a mistake. How are you not going to,
at least issue an apology that you messed up?
Officers, give an apology, make amends with that poor woman's family. And then on top of that, the icing on the cake, they arrest that man for attempted murder of an officer. And they're doing the investigation now. Not when it happened 2 months ago. They're doing it now, right? So these are the things that you have to, when these stories keep coming up and up and up, there's a reason why they're coming up. And it's not random. One story will be random. 2 would be coincidence. But when they keep coming up and up and up.
Yeah, something's up.
How, the case of Barber, how can you say that wasn't racially motivated?
Oh, no, that was.
When there was a man who happened to be black running in the middle of the day, jogging in clear exercise, gear, and you think that he's a burglar. How are you going to say that you think he's a burglar without no other evidence other than the fact that he's running and he's black, right? Those are the only things that right? That he's running and he's black.
Right.
But you think he's a burglar? So how are you
basing this on?
That the fact that you think that he's a burglar, how are you going to say that that's not racially motivated when you didn't see him commit the crime? When the crime didn't even exist.
But let's say it existed. Burglars. You didn't see him do it.
You didn't see him do it. So how can you say that's not racially motivated? But yeah. And not only, okay, you know what? As I always say, if you want to be racist, go ahead and be racist. That's your problem. That's your problem, right? But the failure of proper investigation, that is where the issue is. That is where the culprit really is. The 2 men that shot him, that they're white trash. Rot in jail for all that I care. That's your problem.
But the system failed.
The fact that the system, continues to fail, that's a problem. So, that's our socially aware portion of moment of Pero Let Me Tell You, episode 110.
But you know what?
See, we talk about everything here. We talk about mangoes, 11 pounds of Greek yogurt, guava. We talk about, discrimination.
Full House.
And Fuller House with Tristan.
But you know what? I mean, for every horrible thing that is done out there, there are still good people. And I know I was saying I'm kind of negative. I have no faith in humanity, whatever. But actually, I want to give.
Are we heading into our last soda?
We are heading into our last soda because I think it's a good pivot. As listeners know, we've been sharing the last soda for the last couple of weeks during this coronavirus, and we want to give the last soda actually to a a friend of the podcast. Really, at the end of the day, Chef Chris Valdez.
Oh yes.
While all this,
we love Chris.
We absolutely adore Chris, and while all this horrible stuff is going on in the world, every single week since the quarantine and the work from home and everything started, Chef Chris has been going out there and working with several different people in the community, whether it's, Florida dairy farmers or, other the crop farmers and things like that, to not just do food drives, but create meals in different areas of the city. He's done one here and actually down the street from where I live in Coral Gables. He's done a couple, I think, in Hialeah, Alapata, and Homestead. I mean, he's done it everywhere. And, he shared his story here with us. And so we know that he at times had a difficult childhood. And, he actually just had a birthday, I think, this week. So happy belated birthday. I think he turned 29 this week. But he's definitely the definition of somebody who has said to himself, I'm going to do whatever the hell I can to keep moving forward, and I'm going to give back. And he definitely has. So,
he has. He's good people. We love Chris. I love bumping into Chris.
Yeah.
I feel we bump into him a lot in like different events. Remember events?
Actually, I love bumping into Chris, but I also love bumping into his publicist, Arely. She's and ella siempre está con él at all of these things. She's a trip. But, it's obvious to me que le nace.
Yes, Chris does a lot for the community. A lot. He volunteers a lot. And different philanthropic events and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's a great last soda. I'm so happy that we gave it to him. Yes. We love him.
We do. We
great.
really, really do.
The last time we bumped into him was on Carnival de Mayo.
I always want to call it Miracle on the Mile.
Who knew that was going to be the last outing?
The last outing for now.
For now, but the last outing for a while.
True.
I think that was like maybe the last time I saw it. Was that the last time I saw you?
No, because we recorded an episode right after it, and then we had to re-record because the whole world changed by the time we were done.
Yes. But I think that whatever. But it's been a while.
It's been a while.
So yeah. So anyway, well, everybody, that was episode 110. Another milestone. So we hope you listened, laughed, and learned. And as always, through the coronavirus, thank you for staying with us and for not giving up on us.
Yes,
we're going to continue to do these, episodes with our social distancing as long as we have to. Although I think maybe you and I should get like a long table,
because they're loosening things up. Maybe we're like phase yellow.
Yeah, phase yellow. Was there anything in the instructions from the governor that talked about podcasts?
You know what? We can ask. We'll look into it.
We'll let Governor DeSantis know.
Exactly.
But if you and I get like a long table, we get a long table and we put a lazy Susan in it, so we could eat and spin and drink.
I love everything you just said. I love.
So, anyway, grab your croqueta, your pastelito, and your jupiña, and thank you so much for joining us. That was episode 110.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone.
Take care of each other, guys. Pero Let Me Tell You is co-hosted by Darian Borges and Ismaeliano, produced by Ismaeliano, and our theme, Pero Let Me Tell You Freestyle, is composed by Michael Angelo Lomlaplex, the official gay guy. And don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review on iTunes.